23 interesting facts about ancient Rome. Ancient Rome has long been a part of television shows, movies, and documentaries, and this is mostly due to its large-scale empire and its intimidating army. Let's not forget the intellectuals and philosophers that ancient Rome produced, which led to what is known today as mathematics, philosophy, astronomy, and many other sciences. Now, keep watching for 23 interesting facts about ancient Rome. Number 23. Strange holidays. Ancient Romans used to celebrate a national holiday called Saturnalia. This holiday marks the day in which slaves and masters would trade places. Slaves would be treated to a lavish banquet that was usually only reserved for the elite. Imagine if something like this were to occur in modern day times between employers and employees. Number 22. Roman Vestal Virgins. In the 7th century BC, Roman Vestal Virgins, a virgin dedicated to Vesta and is vowed to chastity, according to Britannica, were required to be virgins up until the age of 30. These virgins were required to keep their hymens intact as proof of their virginity. Those who failed this test would be buried alive. Number 21. Shopping. Even back then, people needed to do some shopping. That's why the Trajan's Market was invented. This shopping center was so large that it contained over 150 shops and offices. Talk about a tourist attraction. Number 20. Gladiatorial fighting. Gladiatorial fighting has always been associated with Rome, but its violent sport wasn't Rome's favorite pastime. In fact, some historians argued that it was actually chariot racing that was the predominant sport that people went to watch. The Colosseum could seat around 50,000 people, whereas the Circus Maximus, which was for chariot racing, could seat up to 250,000 people. Number 19. Life expectancy. It has been estimated that life expectancy in ancient Rome was probably around 20 to 30 years. However, those statistics are more than likely skewed due to the high rate of infant mortality and also the large number of women who would die giving birth. It is thought that if a Roman made it to maturity, they would live as long as a modern human in the Western world. Number 18. Salt and urine were both huge commodities back in the day. It wasn't just relegated to flavoring food, but it was also used as a form of preservation since refrigerators and freezers were not around back then. Salt also made for a good antiseptic, which is why the word sal is in honor of Salus, the goddess of health. Number 17. Gladiator sweat. On top of urine and salt, gladiator sweat was also a sought-after commodity. Roman women were thought to have worn gladiator sweat in order to improve their beauty and complexion. It was also thought to have been an aphrodisiac for women. Romans would also drink gladiator blood because they thought it had the power to cure epilepsy. Number 16. Slave treatment. Although slaves were common back then, ancient Romans were actually nice, or not so cruel, to their slaves. Ancient Romans would use bonuses and other incentives in order to increase productivity and efficiency. I guess that explains the holiday where employers and slaves switch roles. Number 15. Cincinnatus. A dictator of the Roman Republic named Cincinnatus saved Rome from a crisis, but then retired back to his farm after he refused to become its ruler. It is said that Cincinnati is named after this dictator. I guess being a ruler was just too much work for him to deal with. Number 14. Roman dams. There are currently 2 Roman dams located in Spain that are still used to this day. After 1900 years, these dams are noteworthy due to their ridiculous heights, which were unmatched until at least the late Middle Ages. Seems like modern isn't always better. Number 13. Polar bears versus seals. During the 1st century AD, it was said that polar bears would be pitted against seals in the Roman amphitheater that were flooded with water. Romans would then proceed to watch these bears catch seals. Romans are also known for capturing large, wild animals and then transporting them over vast distances in order to join the circus. Number 12. Income inequality. Funnily though, ancient Rome had less income inequality back then than the United States does today. I guess it's pretty tough to underpay your soldiers, warriors, and intellectuals. Seems like income inequality is more of a modern characteristic. Number 11. The death penalty. In ancient Rome, the punishment for murdering your father was the death penalty. But it consisted of being sewn up in a sack along with a monkey, a dog, a rooster, and a viper. It was meant to be a gruesome death, since the person would be beat with rods before entering the sack. Number 10. Infamous Roman emperors. One of the Roman emperors was Caligula. He is most famously known for making his horse a senator, and for also allegedly committing incest with his many sisters, which might have been much more accepted back then. Furthermore, he was known to have fed prisoners to wild beasts and to also hold conversations with the moon. Number 9. Flamingo tongues. In ancient Rome, eating flamingo tongues was a sign of wealth, since it was considered a delicacy back in the day. But for most other Romans, their diet consisted mostly of grains, such as wheat, barley, oats, and also spelt and rye. Number 8. Roman shipwreck. In 2012, it was revealed by a group of divers that a 2,000-year-old Roman shipwreck was discovered. The items in the shipwreck were so well preserved that the food was still intact in most of the storage jars. Number 7. Julius Caesar. Caesar's name was pronounced Iulius Caesar in ancient Rome. It was actually a myth that Julius Caesar was born out of a cesarean section, since most mothers would die from that procedure, and it's reported that Julius's mother lived till at least 50 years old. Number 6. Plumbing. Ancient Rome was one of the first places to have derived a plumbing system. They used the cold water in pipes as a form of air conditioning by running these pipes through houses. Moreover, these same aqueducts would transport water for public baths, latrines, and fountains. It would also help remove the wastewater into nearby sewage systems, which were just neighboring bodies of water. Number 5. Size of the Roman Empire. Many thought that the Roman Empire was the largest empire in history, but in reality, it was the 28th largest empire in the world's history. At its apotheosis, the Roman Empire comprised 12% of the world's population. The largest empires were the British Empire, followed by the Mongol Empire. Number 4. Population. Ancient Rome was rumored to have been at least 6 times more densely populated than that of present-day New York City. It is estimated that just under 57 million people lived in the Roman Empire, which covered approximately 4.4 million square kilometers at its peak. Some of its capitals included Rome, Constantinople, and Syracuse. Number 3. The Statue of Liberty. It has been said that the Statue of Liberty was inspired by the Roman pagan goddess Libertas. Libertas is the Roman goddess of freedom, and she represents the freedom of action, freedom of restraint, and also signifies independence, personal rights, along with personal and social liberty. Number 2. Roman architecture. Roman architecture has once again proven its durability via its concrete structures. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the technology to make concrete was lost for almost 1,000 years. The concrete structures erected by the Romans were so strong that they would withstand the elements for nearly 2,000 years, which is a lot longer than any modern-day concrete structure. Number 1. The Colosseum. It has been remarked that if the Roman Colosseum were to be built today, it would cost approximately $380 million. The largest amphitheater ever built was created out of concrete and sand. Surprisingly, the Colosseum was built in what many estimate to be within 6 to 8 years. Now that you know some of the most interesting facts there are about ancient Rome, it's time to find out how long one of the longest wars in human history was. The longest conflict in human history. One of the longest conflicts in human history was between the Romans and the Persians. The war between the two groups lasted a ridiculous 721 years. It has been speculated that the wars were due to the Persians wanting more and more land, and also for revenge against the Greeks for helping the Ionians revolt against their Persian rulers. What are some of the most interesting facts from this video? Do you know any other facts we didn't mention? Let us know in the comment section below. Enjoyed this video? Hit like, share, and subscribe to What the Facts. Wait, why don't you fact off with these other awesome videos? Go ahead, choose the left or the right video and enjoy.